I'm Bob Batcher, Executive Director of Prime Plus Senior Centers, and this is Prime Time with Bob. I'm now talking with what I consider one of the best guitarists, piano players, instructors, poets, English teacher, and aviator, Joel English.
Hi.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. That's awesome. I'm waiting for something that I guess
What did I miss?
I guess I do all those things, but you don't mean you want me piloting your aircraft because I'm no good for that.
Yeah, but I know it. But you were the only guy that I know. What was it? A week before COVID?
Yeah.
Decided you could airlift a plane from the airport over to the aviation school in Little Creek.
Yep.
And you pulled it off not once, but
twice. It was a beautiful thing. And as you know, I'm the Executive Vice President of Aviation Institute of Maintenance, Centura College, and Tidewater Tech. 19 specific career schools around the country. The largest group, the Aviation Institute of Maintenance schools. And absolutely right, our relatively brand new campus on Little Creek Boulevard of Aviation Institute of Maintenance. It's wonderful because the school is less than 2 miles from Norfolk International Airport, and we had two new aircraft to teach. But the question is, how do you get it from the airport to the school? One was flown in from Wisconsin, the other from Florida. Easy to get it 2 miles to the school, but really the longest mile was the mile to the school. So right indeed, turned out the best way to do it was get a sky crane, which is a Sikorsky helicopter, to lift these airplanes off the tarmac at Norfolk International, over the neighborhood, and down into the campus at the Aviation Institute of Maintenance. Pretty amazing stuff.
I know. Now I want to roll back a couple of months earlier than that, because I happened to be privileged by knocking on the door of a top secret meeting.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Right? You remember this?
Yep.
When the donor said, "I have a plane for you," and you said, "Awesome." Yep. Did you know how you were going to move it when you said awesome?
Not at all. You know, with 14 aviation schools around the country, what we usually do is put the aircraft on a flatbed trailer and over the dark of night, literally at nighttime, haul it down the road. And usually there's a large enough highway to where the plane can be hauled down the road with police escort. And so that's how we usually do it. In this case, the power lines and obstructions between Norfolk International and the school were just too narrow. We needed 44 feet between poles, and some of them were in the 30 feet zone. So we had to innovate a new way, and we figured it out.
Okay, now I want to remind you then, you pull this off, this miracle. So okay, we're done, we're ready to open, right?
Right.
And then the world comes to an end.
Yeah, the beginning of coronavirus for us really was right in the date was February 17th, the date that we had our grand opening scheduled for AIM Norfolk, and the mayor was slated to be there, several city council people, and even some folks from the governor's office were going to be there at the grand opening. And as you know, days before they called and said, we just can't do it, and that's when coronavirus got real for us.
So did you just kind of say, never mind, we'll come back later?
Well, sure. We actually have not had a grand opening yet. We've been live for just over a year at that location. Actually, a year this week because students started attending on January 3rd of last year. So we've been open a year, and I do think that the neighborhood and the city deserves a great grand opening when coronavirus is there. And so, you know, Bob, if it takes a year and a half, 2 years even, to have that celebration for the city where we can get back together and enjoy this great asset in this aviation school, great. We'll wait it out and have that soon. Meanwhile, we've already had graduations. We had a great virtual graduation ceremony in the parking lot where parents, were lined up in their cars and the students walked across the stage at 6 foot distance. So we've carried on.
But did their education look anything like it would have a year ago, though, when you were moving those planes?
You know, interesting question. All of the content has been identical. All of the projects the students have completed. So the content has been identical. no change. The certifications that they worked for, all the same things. It's in the delivery that we've had to make adjustments. Yes, we had the ability to go online with our lecture courses, and now most of our lecture courses are delivered in an online setting like this, live instruction. The hands-on portion, rather than 25 men and women standing around an aircraft working on it together, we have no more than 10 people in a group. And this is for our aviation school, our welding school at Tidewater Tech, HVAC and medical assisting, dental assisting at Centura College. All of them are the same insofar as we deliver the same content, but we space separate all of the instruction. And consequently, it's a smaller class size than we've ever had. And that actually benefits the students quite well. So in some ways, I can't believe I'm saying it, in some ways, it's actually a better education because of the intimacy that has been required.
So what would you say to the person who, kind of like me, who is 2 inches below being over my head saying, I don't know, that's about ready to give up? What would you say to them?
Yeah, I've been doing distance education for quite some time, and I will just put some numbers to it. I was a professor at Old Dominion in distance learning in 1999 through 2005. I ran Centura College's fully online program from 2002 through 2013. And distance learning has always been waiting for this moment, the moment right here, right now. And that is for the internet to be strong enough to allow for live video conferencing and instruction. And so your question was, well, what about the students who still aren't attached to technology? I will tell you, there's something that every one of my students have, and probably every one of yours have, and that is not only a cell phone, but they're comfortable with all of the things that it can do. And so many of our students actually use their cell phone to attend class, and it's technology that's not only in their hands, but they're very familiar with. So the technology, being scared of it really isn't the thing. It's the technologies they use every day.
Yeah. And you know, we discovered that with Prime Plus, because on March 13th, we could have said, never mind. But instead, we're now doing our classes online. Sure, it's a tough challenge to reach people, to have them learn how to do it, but we've become committed to serving that customer, that person, that audience, that segment, a very important segment of our community through this way, and give them what our mission is all about. Now, you were walking through Prime Plus about a year ago, I guess, and you said, you need a pavilion. No, it started off to be a gazebo.
Right.
You need a gazebo. We've got a carpentry school. We can make it happen for you. And now I'm calling it a pavilion because it is awesome.
Yeah.
And we pulled the permit the week before the world closed.
Yeah.
And we got final inspection the week after we were able to get back in the building. So your team persevered. But why did you do that?
Yeah. So Bob, Centura College has always been a community-based organization. I mean, quietly, if you work for the city, you know that we provide over 1,000 backpacks every year for the city's providing school supplies to kids in need to get back to school, and so much of what we do revolves around the city and the people that we serve in our communities. It was a special moment when here we were looking through Prime Plus and looking at the nice yard in the back that your members are able to enjoy, but it's doggone sunny, and sun isn't always perfect, and we said, you know, wouldn't it be a great thing? Now here's the chord that it struck with me. My programs are more impactful for the students when what they're building is not just a lab project, but actually makes an impact for those around them. And so what I saw was the greatest training opportunity for my carpentry students, and as it turns out, electrician students as well, the greatest training solution, because not only are they learning how to do roofing, how to do framing, how to dig into concrete and build a foundation, do all the activities that we would have been teaching them anyway so that they can become certified, but then they can see the people that they're impacting to their left, to their right, through the glass and everywhere they were.
Mhm.
This has actually reformed how we think about our curriculum at all of our schools. Namely, I challenge all of our faculty members to find ways to have projects in their hands-on courses that are real projects in the community. Now, our students aren't working on aircrafts at the airport, but I will tell you what they are doing. At 4 different aviation schools, we've got a sheet metal course. And in that sheet metal course, we've got a project where they build clipboards. And did you know that stainless steel clipboards are one of the more virus protected surfaces? Those clipboards go directly to the hospitals in our communities, and they're at use on hospital floors right now. So if you go to Norfolk General, or if you go to Las Vegas General Hospital, or Philadelphia Hospital, where we're serving students in this way, or serving the community, you'll see doctors and nurses with a steel clipboard built by aviation maintenance students.
Cool.
And that's just part of how we make our education meaningful by serving the community. So the pavilion we built at Prime Plus was really a start to something really great, where our education is actually a community service event, and it's meaningful for everybody.
Well, I need to share with you that I went down to our adult day service, and these are people who can't be left alone that are there.
Yep.
And like I walked in and there was nobody there. Everybody was gone, staff, everybody. And I looked out the window and there they were under the pavilion, because they could go outside, get some fresh air, and take their mask off for a few moments.
Yeah.
They were socially distanced. That would have never happened without the pavilion. So thank you. Now, in full disclosure, and we're close to the end, your great reward for all this work with Prime Plus led to an invitation to be on our board.
Right.
And now you know why. That vision that you have. So what words do you have as a board member of what you see Prime Plus? Why did you say yes to being a board member?
Yeah, well, so board service to me is just really a way to bring my circle of influence to an organization in need. I'm going to make a metaphor here in a moment, and it's also a way for me to sort of give in an advisory kind of role to the things that you do. I mean, you have been a great public servant for so many decades, Bob. But you also know that your administration of Prime Plus is only as deep as your experience until you add board members with another group of experience. So I'm thrilled to be part of the education subcommittee on the board and give what I can. But really, philosophically speaking, if I just preached at you and told you that my carpentry program, electrician program, welding, aviation, dental program are all more meaningful when the students are contributing to the community, then so too is my administration of my institution more meaningful when I'm bringing that into the community. So really, saying yes to being a board member of Prime Plus was practicing what I was preaching, and so I'm happy to be doing that.
Well, I am so glad you're part of the Prime Plus family and leadership, and I'm going to stump you now by closing the show by announcing, stay tuned, because Dr. Joel English is going to be teaching poetry before you know it. Right?
I look forward to it.
You say yes?
Right. That's a yes.
Okay, cool stuff. Joel, thanks for not just being a fantastic visionary, but an educator that can bring it alive, and also a great piano player, guitarist, and friend.
Thank you, Bob. I appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thanks a lot. Hey, keep in mind, stay safe, stay connected, and see you later.